That dude definitely gave the camera guy a haircut. What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers, and welcome to another episode of the Darwin Awards. As we say here on the channel, guns are awesome. Idiots, not so much. When you put the two of those things together, you might end up with a winner of what we call here the Darwin Award. If you're not familiar with the concept of a Darwin Award, it's an award that you get, often posthumously, when you do something so stupid, you end up removing yourself from the gene pool. And the fittest continue to survive. In this episode, we've got an Arab wedding, Instagram flex has gone wrong, and a couple other tiny surprises. Now, a lot of people that are new complained in the last Darwin Award because there wasn't actually a real death in that one. Because for whatever reason, they go to YouTube to find graphic videos of people dying. This ain't 2006 anymore, guys. Also, kind of fucked up to be disappointed you didn't just watch someone die, but that's a totally different issue.
Why would you come into a video wishing to see somebody die? That's disgusting.
But for you psychos, not to worry. This episode actually has a double feature Darwin Award win. We have two separate clips of people removing themselves from the gene pool. Two for the price of one. Buy one, get one, room temperature. In fact, this whole episode is full of double features. Let's start with some butt-puckering foreplay. No, not the kind you got from Scoutmaster Kevin.
Scoutmaster Kevin, no!
The kind that comes from idiots being wildly unsafe with guns. You know this one's gonna be good if the text says, "Was that an ND?" Yeah, that definitely looked like an ND. Thankfully, they've got it in slow motion. Yeah, after watching that in slow motion, unless he was trying to hit the non-existent camera guy, that looked like it was probably an ND. For those who don't know, ND means negligent discharge. Also, what the fuck did he pull out that went flying when he was trying to draw his gun? I can't tell if that's a knife, spare mag, what the fuck that is. Let me know down in the comments if you can see what that is, because I can't. There's an argument to be made, I guess, that this could be an intentional shot, wildly unaimed in the direction of his camera. But if so, this is the sort of training that I think is only for Instagram points. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And smooth is the brain that does shit like this. But since this is a double feature episode, we've got a very similar scenario coming to you from, well, you know exactly where this is. Now, I'll admit I've seen this one before and I still had to slow it down again. That dude definitely gave the camera guy a haircut. Thankfully, in these videos, doesn't look like anybody got hurt. I can't say the same for these next two videos, though. But before we get too far, we want to thank our sponsor, Conflict of Nations. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game. Choose a real country to lead during World War III and fight up to 128 other players in real time, in games that can take weeks to complete. You can use different units to build up your army, whether that's tanks, jets, nuclear submarines, whatever. Declare war on your neighbors or forge alliances with other players. Choose your own strategy, engage in epic battles, and take over the world. Plus, you can play using the same account using both PC and mobile. Plus, if you click on the link I've got in the description, you'll get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free. Offers only available for 30 days, so don't miss out. Just another thank you to Conflict of Nations for sponsoring the video. They're a free online PvP strategy game happening in a modern global war, where you get to choose the strategy on how you take over the world. Reminder to click on my link down in the description to get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free. Again, that's a limited time offer, so don't miss out. Now, some of these don't have audio because they're surveillance video, and that's when you know you're going to get a juicy one. Here we see a group of men partaking in a pastime that is very popular in impoverished urban communities. Sitting. One of them seems to have a bright idea that he'd like to further reduce their property value and fire a handgun up in the air. Let's see what happens. Yep. And he didn't raise it quite high enough before squeezing off that first round because he just shot his buddy. I don't know where he shot him. It looks like it could have either been in the leg or in the pelvic bowl. Neither is a good place to get shot, both are pretty bleedy, but if it's pelvic bowl, well, just remember the age-old saying, you can't put a tourniquet on a taint. I love that he mimes like his arm up in the air, like, oh, bro, I was trying to shoot up in the air. It's like, well, you fucking shot me. Luckily, if he's bleeding, you really can't tell in this video, and they hobble him to the car, where hopefully they get him some medical attention. Not to be outdone, we've got Officer Doofy here. Must be a slow day for crime, because he's playing around with his 1911. 2 world wars, brother. He takes out the magazine, which is a good first step, goes to attempt to rack the pistol, and then pulls the trigger. Puts a hole right through his fucking leg. And as we see him move his foot, there's now a pretty big puddle of blood. Yeah, that's a lot of blood. See, that's a real squirty one. When you get that much blood that quickly, especially the bright red chunky blood, that's not good.
No way!
Oftentimes that signals an arterial bleed, and you need a tourniquet on that fucker ASAP. What looks like what happened in this one is that he went to remove the magazines, gun's cleared obviously. He removed the magazine, that's good, but in order to clear the gun, you have to go all the way back, which would then eject a round. Not only should you go all the way back, but it's good practice to inspect the chamber to make sure there's nothing in it. Then you can let it forward and safely dry fire. It looks like he kind of half-racked it, which would not be far enough to eject the live round that's in the chamber. And, well, you saw what happened. My favorite part is the giant bold letters on his back that say, "Officer." Remember videos like this when people say things like, only police should have guns. While police do have to train with firearms, the training requirements often are, well, let's just say defunding that part's really not a good idea. Now, if you want to see the completely uncensored version of this video and, Darwin Awards in general, you can use the link down in the description to go to Pepperbox or go to Pepperbox.tv. It's a streaming platform that me and my friends started where we put all the stuff that you can't put on YouTube. Plus a lot of bonus content from the crew. Stuff like Cody's shooting breakdowns, but without all the crazy censorship that we have to do for YouTube. And there's a 14-day free trial, so try it out today. See if you like it. Now, up next is a short clip that's going to act as a little break from the violence. So you got him shooting a handgun in the air here. See, that's really not good. If you go back and watch that a little slower, not only does it obviously fly out of his hand, that part's not great, and then it falls and it lands where it's directly pointed back up at him. Plus, he's not really in a safe area to shoot because when he takes a step back, he almost falls, trips and falls, which that could be its own problem. So just a little tip. If you're not sure if somebody can handle the recoil of a weapon that you're letting them shoot, especially handguns, only load one round. It's a small thing you can do that can avoid a potentially huge problem. Because handing somebody a gun that they can't handle is a big safety violation. So I think that's all for that clip, and to be honest with you, I'm out of size puns. But I'm sure you guys are gonna have plenty in the comments. So this next one's a bit of a change in pace. It's a newspaper article, and to my shock, I think it's actually real. Faulty bullets kill woman in pawn shop. A middle-aged woman walked into a Boise, Idaho pawn shop yesterday and pulled out a pistol. Quote, "These shells you sold me don't work," she told the clerk, Chuck Davis. Then as Davis, another clerk, and a customer watched, she put the gun to her head and pulled the trigger. The shot killed her instantly. The woman was identified as Mrs. Arma L. Warren, 52, of Nampa, Idaho. Suffice it to say, the bullets were not defective. Also, is it just me? Is this just my tism getting triggered here? But I'm sincerely bothered by the fact that she referred to them as shells for a handgun. Rounds, ammo, hell, I would have even taken bullets. Shells are for shotguns. Something she would have known if she got her start in gunsmithing and weapons technology at SDI.edu using the link in the description. But for real, I know it's a little late in the episode, but now's probably a good time to go over the 4 rules of gun safety. Treat every weapon as if it is loaded, even if you think the bullets are defective. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, even if you think the bullets don't work. Never point a firearm at anything you're not willing to destroy, assuming your head is on that list. And know your target and what's behind it. In order to have a deadly accident with a firearm, you usually have to break at very least one of these rules, usually multiple. Season 7, time for a wedding. Is it really Darwin Awards if you don't have some sort of Middle Eastern celebration, including questionable gunfire in the air? This clip starts off hot. This guy is getting down with a Glock and pointing it directly at the rest of the guests. Old guy in the light blue shirt had the right idea. Nobody is comfortable with this. And at a certain point, you're just waving a fucking loaded gun around. Everyone around him is way too trusting that he's gonna pull the trigger at the right time. Remember those gun safety rules I talked about just a second ago? Assuming he's not just a terrible shot and he actually meant to kill all these people, he's definitely pointing that gun at things he's not willing to destroy. He's definitely not keeping his finger off the trigger until he's ready to shoot, and treating it like it's loaded, well, I mean, it is fucking loaded. That's not stopping him from having a grand old time. God, there's even a couple bits where he's just like purposely like pointing it at everyone. What a fucking asshole. You know, it's not a cultural thing either if everybody else is getting just as uncomfortable as we are watching. For our next clip, we have another staple of Darwin Awards. Kids recording themselves flexing like wannabe gangsters using shit they should not be fucking with. Here we have what clearly looks like a underage urban youth sporting 2 handguns in a car with his friends who also have handguns. Let's just see how this goes.
I don't know how we rocking. Oh my god.
Sails one right in the windshield. That giggle at the end gets me though.
You broke the window!
Yeah, he broke the window. Also, everybody in that car right now has the big E. Seriously, I want to know what he thought would happen there. He clearly racked the slide, pulled the trigger. You get the surprise inside. Also, that's clearly his dad's very nice, expensive FNX 45 tactical, I would assume. His father, if he's around, probably very upset that his son stole his very nice firearm to use it to put a hole in his windshield.
You broke the window!
So my parents, gotta teach your kids gun safety. Yes, you should keep them out of the reach of children, but if they happen upon it, or when they get a little bit older and they get curious, or they want to do stupid shit like this, gun safety is paramount. Also, like, don't raise your kids to do shit like that. But on top of that, gun safety is an important thing for kids to know. Even if you don't personally have any guns in the home, your kids might go to somebody else's house where they do. Personal story, my dad actually used to have a rule when I was growing up. He always said, son, if you're curious, you ever want to see any guns or anything like that, just let me know. Always take the time to, show it to you, answer questions, this, as long as I've got time. If you want to go shooting, we'll find a day and we'll go do that together. If I find you in my closet playing with a gun unsupervised, I will beat the holy fucking shit out of you. And 8-year-old me was like, yeah, cool, dad, sounds fair. And young Brandon never got that ass beating. For that, anyway. Now, without further ado, we do have our first real winner of a Darwin Award today. Lucky him, right? Now, this video, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have believed if I didn't see it and see the reaction. Again, this one is without sound, but here we have a guy who's just walking down the street. He goes to fumble with something, which is apparently his carry gun, which then falls out of his waistband and bam. Bam! Now, we did blur it just in case because, of course, YouTube, but you can't really see much of what happened there. But if you watch it again and you look in the reflection on the right side, bam, right there you see the muzzle flash reflected in that frame. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we don't carry a SIG 320 in a shitty holster. It's fucked up later on in the same video, these two guys come walking up like, hey, who left a dead guy here? So be careful when you're carrying with one in the chamber, especially if the gun or setup you're carrying is not drop safe and, well, accidents can happen. While it is a Darwin Award winner, I wouldn't usually close with a video like that, but honestly, it was just so weird of a clip, I just had to show you guys. So that brings us to our next clip, the big Darwin Award for this episode. So here we have a gas station employee manning the desk, holding a pistol. I'm sure you can probably already guess where this is going. He's playing what I'll assume is the gun that they keep behind the counter. A shitty necessity if you're in that bad of a ghetto part of town, I suppose. But you should probably train whoever works there how to use it first. And unfortunately, that's just not what happens here. So as he's playing around with it with his finger on the trigger, he ends up pointing it directly at his face and pulls the trigger. Judging by the shot placement and the absolute lockup of his body there, I think it's safe to assume that our boy probably didn't make it. The worst part about this is that this looks like some young dude, maybe in his early 20s, and that this is 100% completely avoidable. There is no reason that had to happen. I mean, the kid's got his whole life ahead of him. Kid's working an honest job, trying to make a living, and now, well, there's a lot of life he'll never get to experience. So he's violating 3 of the 4 rules here, clearly. He's got his finger on his trigger before he's ready to shoot, which I assume he doesn't want to shoot in the gas station. He points it in an unsafe direction. He points it directly at his head. And he's not treating every weapon as if it is loaded, because this one clearly is. Stuff like this is why teaching gun safety is so important. Because much like carrying a gun, gun safety is kind of like a parachute. If you have it and don't need it, no harm, no foul. But if you need it and you don't have it, I can promise you'll never need it again. That's why it's important to learn the 4 rules, practice safe gun handling, and you won't end up winning your very own Darwin Award. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these. Next time, I'm going to try to find some more videos with sound. Got a lot of really cool range videos coming out soon. I know you guys are going to like it. So if you're new around here and you like the content, go ahead and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, do me a favor and double check that you're still subscribed, because YouTube doing that thing again where they unsubscribe people for no reason. But ultimately, thank you guys for sticking with me. I appreciate you staying to the end. And as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks, guys. So first off, this is going to be good if the, this is going to be good if the, this one's going to be.